Hey, we need to get these pigs moved. That's coming up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today on an unseasonably cool mid-March day here in 2021. If you guys have been following us along, you know that we have 7 pigs that are getting way too big for their current pen, and we need to get them moved. So what we're gonna try to get accomplished today is basically doubling the size of the pen that they're in, and we're gonna take you guys along with us. So before we get to this old pen, let's take a look at where they're headed. So this will give you an idea of where they're headed. So you can see brand new ground, and we're doubling the size. So we've had these pigs now for going on about 5 months. We've got a couple in here that are over 200 pounds, and they definitely need a lot more space here for the next month or two while they're still here on the farm. So now to give you a kind of reference, this is where they're headed, and that's where they've been for the last few months. So you can see we've got a lot of holes in the ground, and as much as we've had the manure that we've been taking out of the pen, they have a tremendous amount of nitrogen that they've been putting down on the ground with the urine and the manure that we have not been able to get off of the ground. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go through a couple steps here of kind of segregating the pigs, getting them kind of out of our way so we can start moving some of these other fixtures out of the pen and into their new one. So let's go ahead and get that accomplished now. Come on, piggies! Let's go, piggies! Come on. Come on. Come on, big girl. Come on.
Big girl.
Come on. All right, go, go, go! So you can see that was pretty easy. Now, this is all semi-permanent fencing. Couple things about that. Out here in the open, we have fairly open fencing. It's really designed mainly to keep cattle out. So we have to use semi-permanent fencing in order to keep these pigs put until we have kind of a more permanent area for them. So we also have a tendency to avoid electrical fencing because we have some issues out here in Whitman with folks stealing batteries. I don't understand why, but they do. So we've chosen to go with this semi-permanent fencing, which is basically your T-posts and your pig paneling. So what we've done now is we basically have all 7 pigs basically right here in the middle and at least temporarily out of our way because we have a few things that we need to get into the new pen before we move them in. So the first thing we're going to be doing is moving our pig feeder. You'll see that here. So I'm going to be using the tractor in order to get this guy here, bring him around to the back and get it into its new spot in that new pen. Have the feeder set up, and we're trying to move quick. Now this shelter is a little bit more of a challenge. We have a couple of lifting straps, and we designed the shelter so that we have hooks on each one of the corners. So I'll be able to strap those down and hopefully pick them up with the pallet forks on the tractor and then move this entire enclosure all the way back to their new spot. we got that wrapped up. They're in there nice and snug. You can see they were busting out of that pin. Now, we normally space those 4 feet apart for a reason and secure them together. You can see they will lift those things if those are not secured together. Either way, they're in there, they're nice and secure now. We got everything set for them for today. We've got a storm that's coming in right now, so we need to duck out of the storm. But what we're gonna try to do tomorrow is slide back in there and show you what we're gonna be doing with all of that ground here going forward. We're here the following morning, just a beautiful day today, so we're gonna go ahead and continue. So a couple things we wanted to kind of show you is we do use T-posts and fence clips, a little bit of tie wire, and the pig paneling in order to get this semi-permanent fencing up. As we're taking these down, we wanted to kind of point out a couple things so that you're able to reuse some key things. So let's go ahead and look at that now. First thing, as far as supplies that we want to try to reuse, because we obviously are moving these panels, are these fence clips. So there's a few different styles of clip. We get these from Tractor Supply. These are actually less expensive than one of the other ones that they have there, and we really like this basic design. So we get these whenever we can, and you can see when you put them on, you basically put them around the T-post, and then you bend these in. So you can see that's how we have this one set up. But when we go to take them off, all we do is just bend them straight back the other way, just like this, and you can see they come right off. So they slide right off. And then we can just reuse each one of these clips multiple times so that we're not wasting these. The second thing would be where these panels come together. So you can see this corner here. We'll have piggies visiting us here in a second. But we take galvanized tie wire, but we basically just attach these panels together with tie wire in 3 spots, especially down here at the bottom, to make sure these are nice and secure. Very, very difficult for the pigs to get underneath. Even these big girls right here have a hard time doing that. The last thing obviously you're gonna need is T-posts. Whenever you're dealing with T-posts, you need a way to drive them in the ground. We've got a hand driver. We also saw you saw the gas powered driver yesterday. We obviously prefer to use a gas powered driver because we drive hundreds of T-posts in each year on the farm here, so we have a gas powered one. But then of course the opposite of that, you need a quick and easy way to get these out of the ground, and that's where this T-post puller comes from. So there's a couple options when you're using this. You can use chain, that's what this is here, or you can actually utilize this piece right here, kind of this U connection or clamp, and it actually goes around the post and it'll pull it. So I'm gonna just kind of show you how that works now. So you can grab it from either side, but the key is using this clamp here. It'll grab onto one of these nubs right here, and you want to get this nice and close to the T-post. By the way, if you don't have solid dirt, we have real solid dirt here. If you don't have solid dirt, you can just take a 2x4 and put it underneath there, and then this will work. So just like that, even on our super, super hard dirt, these posts in hard dirt are very hard to get out, which is great to keep the pigs in, but sometimes a little tough to get them back out. You can see how easy that was. Okay, so Lori and I are gonna go through, we need to get this old pin torn down, and then we're gonna show you what we're gonna do to get this ground prepped for planting. As far as transporting these, easiest thing, the tractor, we've got all the T-posts loaded in the bucket, and you can see I just took one of the ripper tines, actually have it so that it's facing up, and then about halfway down these pig panels, I have them basically just sliding one by one on here. So lots and lots of weight that would be hard to drag around ourselves. We're gonna be able to move with the tractor, bring them over to the other side, just stack them out for now, because eventually we'll be taking that one down as well. So one of the things you'll notice pretty quick when it comes to pigs and ground is they dig. You'll see the pigs in the background. They're definitely rooting around, and that's exactly what they do. They'll dig up sticks. They'll literally eat the sticks. They'll eat whatever roots they can find. There's not much in our desert soil, but they do find it, and we've watched them just eat dirt. But when they dig nice, big, gigantic craters, and that's definitely not what we want as far as planting. We haven't decided exactly what we're gonna have permanently in this area that they've put a lot of nutrient down on for us, but I do know that we don't wanna have this moon-like crater surface. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna take the box plate on the tractor and try to flatten this out, fill in some of these holes as best I can, and then we'll show you what we're gonna do next. That'll give you an idea what it looks like when you're done with that box plate. Obviously makes it nice and flat, filled in all of the really deep ruts that we had, and overall looks pretty good. Now, one last thing that I want to do with this ground is I do want to get this tilled. So obviously they went through and they dug several areas, but there's still a few of these that are just really, really hard dirt. No matter what we decide to plant in here eventually, we want to make sure that it's got nice soft ground to go into, and that's what we're going to use that for. So I have our tiller ready to go, and what I'm going to do is go around just the areas that the pigs were in, get those nice and tilled. Got that all tilled, so that looks really good. In fact, that's probably the best soil we have on the farm. It was funny because the pigs were watching. I think they were a little jealous of just how well that tiller does compared to what they can do with their snouts. Either way, this is a drag harrows. Now I have this on the back of our lawn tractor, and the reason why is I've got that nice and tilled, we've got it aerated, I've moved all that raw manure and urine into the soil. It's getting down a few inches. The last thing I want to do is get 2 tons or so worth of tractor over the top of that, compacting it yet again. So I do want to get flat, but I don't want it compacted. So I'm using the lawn tractor. It's a few hundred pounds. I'm about $1.50. This doesn't weigh much either. So we'll only have a few hundred pounds on here flattening this out as opposed to those 2 tons. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get to work. So you get an idea of what this is gonna look like. Very easy to get this dragged and nice and, well, flat-ish. Obviously it's not perfect, but that's not what we're going for. So at this point we have all of the urine and manure that was mixed right here on site by the pigs, tilled it into the soil. And not only do we have that here on the area that they were in, but we also have our compost piles of the manure we removed each day, and that's composting down as well. So lots of fertility from those pigs that we have that we can transplant into the other areas. That's specifically going to be to fertilize our fruit trees and things like that. And then of course now here we're dealing with very raw urine and manure for the pigs. So we have some ideas as far as what we want to plant here initially. We don't have irrigation to this and we don't plan on that anytime soon. So we'll have to hand water it where we need to. So we will try a few different things out, but really like to hear from you guys. What do you think would be the best thing for us to plant here for the spring in through the summer? I know we definitely need to allow the manure and the urine here to compost a bit. We definitely don't want raw urine and manure anywhere near any plants that we're gonna eat or anybody else is gonna eat. But at the same time, we do know that there are crops we can plant here that will thrive and actually allow us to continue to build the soil here. I know one of those for sure will be daikon radishes, but besides that, what do you think we should put here next? So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section down below. Hey, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that already. We've got, a few thousand people that are following us here, but would love to see you as well. And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That is a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with that link, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. Let's try that again. Nose is running, it's freezing, there's water coming down.
Okay, go.
It's raining. I felt it.
Okay, let's go.
I'll set you. Come on in.
Bigger. I can't. I can't.
Bigger. Come on. Right upon you in your business, wasn't you? Come on over.